Welcome back. It is time now for Great Day Home Improvement, from roofing to windows to doors to your insulation needs. We've got to think about that. Millstream Construction does it all.
This is incredible. We're going to be joined by General Manager of Millstream Construction, Nick Ortiz. Nick, thanks so much for being with us. This is an incredible visual you have here.
Yeah, absolutely. People don't realize the difference between the amount of insulation they should have versus the amount of insulation they probably have.
So this is what we most likely have.
Yeah, this is kind of the builder grade amount of insulation. This is what's considered an R19. This, for demo purposes, is your rafters. So you can see the filling, the cavity is filled, but it's not filled very high, right? So if we look at this part here, this is how much insulation you should have.
That is an incredible difference.
This is over twice as much.
It also looks different, right? Like this is like the pink kind of stacky, and this looks more.
Yeah.
So is there a difference in like what you insulate with and what we should?
So there's two different options. This is what's considered a blown-in option,
that's what I was going to say. It's
versus
a blown-in option.
Option. And so for blown in, you have fiberglass blown in, but you also have what this is called a cellulose. This is partially recycled material.
Oh, that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's great for the environment, but it gives you that resistance to losing your hot air and your cold air, from your floors, basically.
So, in terms of this, is one going to produce more insulate? It'll keep the house cooler and hotter in this different seasons than the other?
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole point of insulation is to create a thermal break between your floors, right?
Okay.
So if you think about, if you didn't have any insulation, all your heat and all your cool air would come up through your floors and through your ceilings and out your roof. All right, and so me being a roofing company, we're thinking about what's your insulation like, what's your ventilation like, and what's your roof like, and we look at it as a full system. And those are the types of discussions you need to be having when it comes time for the roof.
Okay.
So the more insulation you have, the more resistance, that bigger thermal break you have from losing your cold air and your hot air. That energy is not leaving your house.
Karen and I think we learned from you. If you're driving down the street in the winter and you see snow on the roof, or if you don't see snow on the roof, that could be an indication whether or not you have.
It's going to tell you things, right?
It'll tell you things, right?
Yeah. So in the winter, you should have full snow coverage on your roof because the inside attic temperature should match the outside temperature.
Right.
If it doesn't, you have uneven ventilation or insulation, and it's creating heat pockets.
Okay.
And you're losing that energy from your house into your attic.
So we should have snow on the roof.
You should.
So here's a little
Not that
visual.
we can buy a flake this year.
Yeah, visual. So on one side you have what's not a good insulation, and on the other side you have great insulation. So it's the amount of insulation, but also the components.
Like, what is this?
This is what's considered.
It looks like me in the morning.
It's like this. What is this plastic thing with hair?
This is a ridge vent. So if you look, this is considered a high flow ridge vent. So if you look at the peak of your roof, this would be on the peak, and then you have cap shingles on top. So this is actually how your attic breathes out.
Okay.
Right? And let me show you how it breathes in. So this component goes into what's called your soffit vents down at the base. And so air comes in here into your attic and then comes out here, right? So just as a visual place, this is what you have.
Okay.
Okay.
And is that just a simple styrofoam?
This is just simple styrofoam, but all it's doing is creating a space. So your insulation is going to be butted up against here, and the air is going to travel through here and up through your attic, right? Getting the outside air into your attic, and then coming out, the hot air is going to be coming out the top.
Okay, that's excellent. What's the white thing?
Yeah, what's the white thing?
The white thing. So that's another way that houses are ventilated. This is what's called a gable vent. All right. So typically you see this on both ends of the house. So there's two types of ventilation. There's gable venting and there's soffit venting. When you have one, you shouldn't have the other. And that's another thing that we're finding very common, is that a lot of houses now are having both, and that's creating an issue with ventilation and creating roof issues quicker than it should happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, this sounds like a lot of stuff to know, but the great thing is Millstream Construction, you guys are local, and you're not just a one-trick pony. You do it all. So you can look at the whole system of the house, and it's a one-stop shop. You can do everything and make sure everything is working the way it should be.
It's really important because gone are the days of just swapping out your roof.
Yeah.
Right now it's a systematic approach. Right. I have an engineering background. My staff has an engineering background. So there's a lot of building science and engineering behind replacing your roof. And so if you're not having conversations about these types of components, you really have to consider who you're talking to.
Can I ask a question? Is that made of a certain material? Like, you know, because I sometimes see metal ones, and is one better than the other? Or
Not necessarily better. What makes the difference is the gap, right? Is how much air is going to flow through. So some are made out of wood, some are made out of composite material. This one's made out of plastic. What really matters is the gap, and we can do the calculations to figure out if you have enough ventilation.
Okay.
So we want to let everyone know that you actually have, not only do you do free inspections and free estimates, but you have a special limited offer for everyone who's listening on WFSB right now. The first 30 customers only get $500 off a blown-in installation with the purchase of a roof, or you get a free upgrade to a lifetime warranted vent pipes, bath vents, and a high-flow ridge vent. And we're still learning what all those are, but it's great that they're all free.
Yeah, exactly. So these are exclusive upgrades. We value the WFSB relationship and everyone that's watched us over the last few months very much. So I want to give something special and spectacular to these people that are, you know, fans of ours and want to reach out to us.
Excellent.
And let's show the phone number to call. It is 860-748-3459. Again, they do it all, and they're local.
Thanks,
So,
Nick.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.